And while a boutique on wheels is not something you would typically see, businesses have had to adapt to all the new ways that people are spending, and that could mean more online shopping or more delivery services. So joining us now to talk a little bit more about that is Emily Carroll. She's the marketing coordinator at Drive Research. Emily, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, I'm going to make an admission here. I'm a shopper. And I know that my spending habits changed drastically during the pandemic. I began looking online, secondhand, vintage. Where have you been seeing the people go shopping now?
Yeah, so you're definitely not alone in that. I'd say that people never necessarily stopped shopping, but what they were shopping for definitely changed. So when we were conducting consumer studies back in April of 2020, we saw a huge surge of people shopping for things like grocery items or personal and healthcare items, a lot more than ever before, where now people are kind of starting to get back more to normal, where they're also doing more luxury items, back to clothes and accessories and shoes, where, you know, in the start of the pandemic, no one really cared what they looked like. So those types of industries definitely saw a dip.
You know, that's funny because I didn't even think about it, but I did order groceries online too. That's interesting. So more people are getting vaccinated now, and so some things are probably getting back to normal. But do we expect spending and shopping trends to go back to the way they were? Because I see a lot of businesses, you know, setting up those kiosks where they can just call into the, you know, they can make their order online and then they can call into the store and they get it delivered right to them.
Yeah, you know, truthfully, it's hard to imagine any industry, especially grocery shopping, ever going back to 100% normal, you know, pre-COVID times. So I'd say there's definitely some behaviors that will go back to normal and some that will change forever. You know, our survey research with national brands actually found that grocery shopping is a great example of the consumer behavior that will change for good, but also go back to normal. So, for example, a recent study that we conducted found that 41% of people are visiting the grocery store less often due to COVID. You know, more and more people are definitely turning to those online grocery retailers for either at-home delivery services or curbside pickup.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. So another interesting tidbit of that, too, is a lot of like the brand tracking studies that we've conducted. A lot of the brands have seen a dip in brand awareness and brand exposure. So you figure people are spending a lot less time in the store. If they're in the store, they're not, you know, just walking around looking at different products. They're kind of in and out. So a lot of these brands have decreased in brand awareness, and brand loyalty has kind of gone out the window. But as for changing times, as things are starting to open back up now, you know, do I ever think that online grocery shopping like Instacart will ever completely replace in-person shopping? Definitely not. You know, in the same survey, we found that 83% of people will prefer to shop in store post-pandemic. So, you know, as things are opening back up, I think things like that will return back to normal.
Okay, so we learned about something called revenge shopping. I really didn't hear about this phrase until we started researching for your interview. It's the idea that people need to make up for lost time. I feel like maybe I'm doing a little bit of that. What is that about?
I know. I had not heard of it until recently. So I did some research myself, and I'm like, you know, it makes sense, and it coincides with just the studies that we've done. So, you know, think back to this time last year as local economies started shutting down. Americans actually started saving a greater percentage of their money than ever before. There was a lot of concern with the economy and the health and the jobs and just kind of that unknown. So when we asked people, okay, what do you plan on spending your first stimulus check on? Majority of people said things like living expenses, such as groceries, bills, mortgages. But now, as months have gone on, our surveys have seen a trend where people are actually 30% less concerned with the economy and health. And we've definitely seen that showcase in the future stimulus checks. So 58% of stimulus checks in 2021 were spent on bigger ticket items like vacations or home improvement projects.
Yeah, because we've all been cooped up, right?
I know, exactly. So even if people can't get down to Florida or get to any of, you know, nicer weather areas, they're like, okay, fine, I'll spend it on a pool. Yeah. So definitely we're going to see a lot more bigger ticket items compared to this time last year.
Well, Emily, thank you